All right, we are recording. Okay, I would jot that down. Jot that down. That is your slope formula right there. That is the slope formula. Slope formula. Note the lowercase m. Lowercase m is your variable that represents slope. M is equal to, and the way that we read this is y sub 2, sub meaning that little number's down, not like an exponent, but it's down below. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1. And that is a fraction bar over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay? So as far as the formal official slope formula, this is it. And this should not be the first time you've seen this, right? Should have dealt with this before, but guys, and when you look at this formula, what I want you to look at and see in basic terms, on the top, you're subtracting two y values. On the bottom, you're subtracting two x values. Okay? The other thing I want you to not worry too much about are the little sub 2s and sub 1s. All right? When it comes to subtracting these y's and these x's, it's not going to matter which one is which as long as we do both the x's and the y's the same way. Okay? But as far as the formula, this is the formula. Please, please, please note that the y's are on top and the x's are on the bottom. That oftentimes gets mixed up a lot, okay? Y's are on top, x's are on the bottom. Any questions about the formula as it sits there right now? Okay. All right, let's do a couple here real quick. Okay? A couple of ordered pairs of numbers. We're going to start real easy here, okay? We've got an ordered pair of numbers 2, 5 and an ordered pair of numbers 5, 7. These are 2 points on a line somewhere out there, and we don't really need to see that right now. But these are 2 points on a line. Given these 2 points, given these 2 ordered pairs of numbers, I want to determine the slope of the line. Okay? Please remember that each ordered pair comes with an x and a y. Okay? And again, we should know that. Each ordered pair comes with an x value and a y value. Now, listen carefully. It does not matter which direction you subtract. Just make sure that you do it for both the x's and the y's the same. Okay? So, first time I do this, I'm going to subtract from right to left. Okay? I'm going to go right to left my first time. And I'm going to do it both ways so that you see that the answer is going to come out the same. Okay? So we're going to go right to left. And remember with the slope formula, your y's are on top. So we're going to go lowercase m equals, slope equals 7 is my first y value, minus 5 is my second y value. So my first y value is 7 minus 5. There you go. There you go. Coming off the break. Okay? Now on the bottom, first x value is going to be 5 minus the second x value is going to be 2. Okay? We're subtracting from right to left. So 7 minus 5 on the top, 5 minus 2 on the bottom. Guys, what's 7 minus 5?
2.
2. And what's 5 minus 2? 3. 2/3. 2/3. And that fraction, I cannot reduce that fraction. 2/3 is fully reduced. my slope is 2/3. My rise number is 2, my run number is 3. Okay, so again, we've kind of talked about that. Rise over run. This is a positive slope, which means, is it an uphill or downhill line? Uphill. It's an uphill line, okay? All right? Everybody okay with that? Okay, now, if you want to write this down, that's fine. I'm going to change colors here. We're going to go yellow. This time, I'm going to subtract from left to right. And so if I do left to right, my first y value would be 5 minus. Guys, let me encourage you, when you write the first number down, put a minus sign behind it immediately. And that's going to become a little more apparent when we do the next example, okay? When you write the first number down, put a minus sign behind it immediately, because the formula has a built-in minus sign in it. 5 minus, and the second y value is 7. Over. The first x value is what? 2. Minus, put that minus sign in there immediately. The second x value is 5. So 5 minus 7 on the top, 2 minus 5 on the bottom. What is 5 minus 7? Negative 2. And what is 2 minus 5? Negative 3. Would you agree that a negative over a negative is also a positive? Okay, so negative 2 over negative 3 is the same thing as positive 2 over positive 3. Guys, it does not matter which direction you subtract, just do it for both, the y's and the x's. You can go right to left, you can go left to right, just do it the same for both. And you shouldn't have to mess with or worry about, well, which one's the little sub 2, which one's the little sub 1, okay? That's just part of that formula to show you that there's 2 different y values and there's 2 different x values. It does not matter which way you subtract, okay? Questions about the first example? We good with that? Guys, all it is subtraction, okay? You get 2 ordered pairs of numbers, and if they want to know the slope, this should kind of be a slam dunk, okay? I mean, it should be like, oh, sweet, okay, I can do this. This should be pretty easy, all right? Let's take a look at the second example, okay? 2 ordered pairs, negative 3, 4, and 1, negative 2. You want to go right to left or left to right? You want to go left to right? Okay, let's go left to right with this one. Okay? So we're going to go lowercase m equals, slope equals. What's going to be the first y value then? If we're going left to right? 4 minus, put that minus sign behind that first number immediately. 4 minus. What's the next y value?
Negative 2 minus 1.
Second y value. I think you said it first, Christian. Negative 2. Now take a look at that, okay? And this is why I want you to put that minus sign behind that first number right away. Because our second number in this case is a negative number. 4 minus negative 2. And I would put that negative 2 in parentheses. What's your first x value? Remember, we're going left to right. Negative 3 minus, negative 3 minus, and then what's the second x value? 1. Good. Okay. 4 minus negative 2 on the top. Negative 3 minus 1 on the bottom. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Now, what's going to happen right here? What happens with minus a negative? Becomes a?
Here's what I found.
Oh, there you go. That's what they found. That becomes a positive. That's really 4 plus 2 on the top. What is 4 plus 2? 4 plus 2.
4 plus 2.
Thank you. Good. 6. Those darned integers. Here we go on the bottom. Negative 3 minus 1. Negative 3 minus 1. Negative 4.
Good job.
Good. Negative 4. Same sign. Keep the sign. Add the numbers. Now, 6 over negative 4. Okay. With any fraction, we always want to see if we can reduce that. Can you divide both those numbers by a common number?
Yes.
Divide them both by 2. So what do we get? 6 divided by 2? 3. Negative 4 divided by 2. Positive or negative? Negative 2. 3 over negative 2.
Wait, is that a 6?
I'm sorry?
Is that a 6?
That is a 6 right there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That looks like a B.
I got you. It's a 6. All right, here's your slope. 3 over negative 2. That is a negative slope. So uphill or downhill line? Downhill line. Negative slope. Guys, remember, if your slope is negative, you only get to use one negative sign. That negative sign can be with the 2, it could be with the 3, it could be with one or the other, can't be with both. Okay? But that slope is negative. And again, because of the possibility of some negative numbers in those ordered pairs, I cannot emphasize enough to you, guys, when you're using this slope formula, when you write the first number, put a minus sign behind it immediately. Okay? Whoop, whoop. All right? Because there will be some sign mistakes, and that's fine. I'm just telling you, pay attention to detail. There is a minus sign built into this formula. Everybody okay with that? We good? Okay, tell you what, let's do one more here. Let's go negative 3, negative 4, and let's go 0, negative 5. Let's do one more with some negatives here, make sure we're good with this. Okay, negative 3, negative 4, 0, negative 5. We'll roll a 0 in there, which is kind of nice. Which way you guys want to subtract? You want to go right to left or left to right? Doesn't matter.
Left to right.
Left to right. Let's go left to right. Left to right. If we're going left to right, what's the first y value that we're going to use then? Negative 4. Negative 4 minus. Negative 4 minus. Put that minus sign there immediately. What's the second y value? Negative 5. Put that in parentheses. There's your double sign. Negative 4 minus negative 5. What's the first x value from left to right? Negative 3 minus. What's the second x value? 0. Nice. 0's nice to use. Everybody good with where all that's coming from? Negative 4 minus negative 5. What happens to minus a negative? Becomes a big plus right there. So make sure we understand that's a big positive. That is really negative 4 plus 5. So what's negative 4 plus 5? Or what's 5 minus 4? Think of it that way. What's 5 minus 4? 1. Nice. Negative 4 plus 5 is the same thing as 5 minus 4. How about negative 3 minus 0? Negative 3 minus 0.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Good. Negative 1/3. Slope's negative 1/3. Okay? Slope is negative 1/3. You could write that 1 over negative 3. You could write it negative 1 over positive 3. Okay? That negative sign can only be used one time if that's a negative slope. Okay? All right, questions? Feel okay about it? Guys, really, 2 ordered pairs, slope, ought to be easy. Ought to almost be a gimme, okay? Disregarding maybe just a little careless mistake, which hopefully we're paying attention, that should be easily done, okay? All right, we good? Okay. All right, jot these down right here. Jot these down. Y equals mx plus b. Does anybody know what that form is called?
No, sir. Wait, that's
Slope.
Y. I don't know.
That is slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. We should be familiar with that, right? Heard it before. Should be in there in the depths of the mind someplace. Y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. ax plus by equals c. Does anybody remember what that form's called? Starts with an S. That is standard form. Standard form. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Standard form, ax plus by equals c. Now, let's go back up to slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. All right? We just got done talking about this one, the lowercase m. What does lowercase m stand for? Slope. Lowercase m is slope. Lowercase m is slope. Notice what letter it sets next to. What's right next to the m? X. Okay? Guys, you need to associate those two things together. The slope and the x come together. Okay? The slope and the x are there together. They are paired up together. Whatever number is setting in front of your x, that is your slope. Okay? Make that association. The m and the x are together. Okay? Now, the other part to this is the plus b. Does anybody remember what b stands for or represents? The y-intercept. That lowercase b is your y-intercept. Hence, slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. The y-intercept is telling you where the line will go through the y-axis. Okay? So m is our slope. It is associated with x. The lowercase b is your y-intercept. Okay? Now, slope-intercept form, and that's the nice thing about slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is very friendly because it has some useful information in it. I can look at slope-intercept form and say, there's the slope, there's the y-intercept. Standard form, not so much. It's a pretty form. It's clean. It's pretty. There's not ever going to be any fractions in it, but I can't look at standard form and just say, hey, there's slope, there's y-intercept. It's not very helpful in that regard, okay? So we're going to spend some time today a little bit more with slope-intercept form, okay, but need to know what standard form looks like as well, need to know the difference, okay? Any questions here thus far? So far, so good? Okay. All right. So, they want us to write the equation. You're going to be asked to write the equation of a line, okay? Now, as we go along, you are presented with different types of information to write these equations. Okay? Now, we're going to be pretty basic here today and Wednesday. All right? What two pieces of information have been given to you here?
The y-intercept and the slope.
And the slope. Okay? Guys, when it comes to writing the equations of lines, I think that there's a very important question you need to ask yourself. The question is this: what kind of information have I been given? What kind of information have I been given? Look what you've been given. And he's exactly right. You have been given a slope, and they gave you a y-intercept. Didn't we just talk about the form of an equation that has a slope and a y-intercept? What's the name of that form? Slope-intercept form. Okay? So we have this form right here, y equals mx plus b, that will accept a slope and a y-intercept. What kind of information have I been given? I've been given a slope and a y-intercept. Is there a place I can take that information and plug it in? Yes, I can take it to slope-intercept form. Well, what's the lowercase letter that also means slope? M. You see this 2/3? We're going to take that 2/3. We're going to put it right there for M. Y equals 2/3 x. We're going to replace the M with 2/3 because that's my slope. And my y-intercept is -2, so I'm just going to put a -2 on the back end. I'm going to replace the b with the -2. Guys, again, if we're paying attention here a little bit, you know, I've got a slope, I've got a y-intercept. Oh, hey, I've got a form that will take that right now. Slope and y-intercept. Got it. Boom, plug it in. We are done. Y equals 2/3 x minus 2.
Don't you just multiply the -2 and the 2?
We're done. That equation right there describes the line that has a slope of 2/3 and goes through the y-axis at -2. You have just written the equation of a line given that information. Okay? What kind of information have I been given? That's what you need to ask yourself, though. Depending on what you've been given, that's going to tell me where to go. Right now, we're going to be going to slope-intercept form. So if we take a look at the second one, the second set of information here, we've got a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of 0. So what do you think this equation is going to look like? Y equals -3. What's the letter that always comes with the slope? Look right here. -3x. Now, your y-intercept is 0. If you want, you can put a +0 out there. That is fine with me. If you were taking a test or you're in a textbook or something like that, you're probably just going to see this, -3x. So either one of those is fine, but just know that if the y-intercept is 0, you're probably not going to see the 0. If you want to write it there, that's fine with me, though. If you've been given a slope and a y-intercept, you're going to plug it straight into slope-intercept form, plug it in for M and B respectively, And you are done. You have the equation of a line. Okay? All right. Questions? Are we okay with this? No? Well, then we should have a question. All right, no question? It really is. I mean, yeah, it's easy. I mean, it should be easy. Should be. Okay, last thing. What if they give us a picture? Okay, what if they give us a picture? Now, based on previous experience, okay, well, let me ask you this first. Take a look at, we're going to take a look at the graph on the top there. And the grid marks didn't copy real well there, but can you see a y-intercept? Can you see where the line crosses the y-axis? That looks like 1, 2, 3. It looks like we've got a y-intercept. This line crosses the y-axis at 3. I would write that down. Your y-intercept is 3. Y-intercept is represented with lowercase b. So with this graph here, I can see that my y-intercept is at positive 3, so I'm going to write b equals 3. I have that identified. Is this an uphill or downhill line? Now look left to right. Left to right, downhill line. Should we expect a positive or negative slope? Should we expect a negative slope, okay? Now, our slope, that's our lowercase m. Remember when we had these pictures, we did the rise and run. We counted squares, okay? Do you want to go high to low or low to high? You want to go low to high? If we go low to high, if we're going from the low point to the high point, we're going to have to rise 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got to rise 4, and up is positive, so that's a positive 4. And then we've got to go to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 5 would be negative. So up 4, left 5 is 4 over negative 5. There's your slope. If you went high to low, it would be down 4, right 5. So it would be negative 4 over positive 5, which is still negative 4 over 5. Either way, your slope is a negative 4 over 5. Is everybody okay with where I got the slope? Guys, once you know the m and once you know the b, we're going to plug them in. Negative 4/5 x plus 3. Take your slope, put it in for m. Take your b, put it in for b. There it is. Y equals negative 4/5 x plus 3. That equation describes that line that you're seeing there on that graph. Questions? Okay. Take a look at that next one down there. What's the y-intercept?
2.
Y-intercept is at 2. That's a visual identification. Your y-intercept is at 2. Okay? Guys, if there's any kind of information you can get visually, get it. Uphill or downhill line?
Uphill.
Uphill. We should expect what kind of slope? Positive or negative? Positive. Okay, so again, anticipate that. Now, we only need to use 2 of these points. Okay? I'm going to use I'm going to use those two right there. Okay? I'm going to use those two right there. So to go from this point to this point, I've got to rise how many? Up how many? Up 1. Up 1. Right. How many is that?
3.
1, 2. 1, 2. Right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Guys, it doesn't matter which 2 points you use either. If I go here to here, that's up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. It doesn't matter which 2 points you use, you're going to get 1 over 2. Okay? If you went the other direction, if you went down this way, that would be down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2 is negative 1 over negative 2, and a negative over a negative equals a positive. Y equals mx plus b. So y equals, what am I putting in for m?
You're going to put 1 over 2.
Make sure you put the x right behind it. 1/2 x. X always comes with your slope. Plus 2. Guys, if your y-intercept was a negative number, you just put a minus sign there. It's the only difference. Both these examples, our y-intercept was positive, so we put a plus sign there. If your y-intercept was a negative number, you were doing so good. You were doing so good. Okay? All right. Yep. Guys, again, these are essential basic skills. We need to be able to do this, okay? We need to be able to calculate slope from a couple of ordered pairs of numbers. You know, given some basic information, write a basic equation of a line, okay? Okay, here's what you got, okay?
Wait, can you go back? I wasn't finished.
All right, first page right there, 1 through 8, 2 ordered pairs of numbers, all you're doing is calculating slope, okay? We're going to need some reps with that. Just get used to the subtraction, okay? Get used to working with those double negatives, okay? Make sure it's y's first and then x's on the bottom. But the first page, 1 through 8, calculating slope from 2 ordered pairs of numbers, okay? Second page, you're doing exactly what we just did. You're writing the equation of a line given the information they've given you. Now notice 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, guys, they give you the slope and the y-intercept. Okay? I mean, you're just plugging it in for m and b and you're done. It's that easy. Okay? 4 through 9, we saw those graphs, right? Identify your y-intercept visually. Where does it cross the y-axis? Identify that b value. And then you're gonna need to count your rise and run to get your slope. Okay? So we're going to get a little extra practice doing that, but guys, we're going to need a good slope to plug into that form. Okay?
We're only doing 8.
Do what?
We're only doing 8.
Well, 1 through 9 on this page. So both pages, you're doing them all. Okay? Because, I mean, all right? Christian, question.
So we have to do both of those pages?
Correct. Yep. Okay? And really, quite frankly, the second page, I think, will probably be easier than the first because there's a little bit more of just information that's been given to you on the second page. The first page, you're just doing the subtraction to do your slope, but we're going to need some reps at that. Okay? Wednesday, again, I'll be gone Wednesday. My apologies. I'm going to leave you some more work on this right here, what you're seeing here. So we're kind of getting ahead for Wednesday's work. You're going to get some practice with it today. You're going to get a little bit more work with it on Wednesday as far as writing the equation of a line, okay, given this kind of information. So you'll do that on Wednesday along with a warm-up. And then Friday, we'll do a little progress check over this information, okay? And like I said, one more thing next week, and then test on the unit, and you're in for a final, and Merry Christmas. Okay?